Guys, today is going to be really quick. We're going to do a high level overview of property development. Okay. And what I want you to do is I'm going to give you a little second just to get something to write with. I'm also going to provide a little cheat sheet in my group for you guys. Okay. So make sure you click the link in the description, join the group. But this is just going to be a quick high level overview. Okay. Of what it takes to develop property. And when I say develop property, I'm talking about a spec house, an apartment complex, a commercial building. We're going to just go through the initial steps to get you going, guys. So when we start talking about developing property, guys, developing property is all about the plan. Okay. And the plan starts with raw land. Okay. You got to find raw land. And here's a quick picture of some raw land. So let me share my screen with you. Let's go. There we go. So this is kind of what we're looking for when we say raw land. All right. So something similar to this. You want to find some raw land. Okay. And it's critical that we find raw land in areas that are already in demand. And you can either partner with a developer that's developing property, in your area, and maybe they'll sell you some land, sell you a lot. Or you can go to your local government, maybe talk to your mayor, and see which direction your city is going in, and you want to kind of go in that area. Okay, now there are situations where you can develop property in areas that are kind of outside of the norm. Maybe there's not really much development going on in that area, but there may be a lack of housing. Okay. Land may be cheap, so there are some outliers, but I always tend to advise people to go where the action is, and that just gives you the best chance of making sure you have a proper development, right? So, yeah. So the first step is you got to have an idea of where you want to develop your property at, and it starts with raw land. Okay, so that's number one. Okay, so number two is going to come in the form of blueprints. Okay, so you're going to have to get you a set of drawings. Okay, and they'll look something like this, but we'll make this bullet point very simple. Okay, when you talk about developing property, okay, when you identify a piece of land, you're going to partner with an architect for a house. Okay, if it's a house, you're going to partner with an architect, because an architect's job is to take that land and he's going to design you a house on it. Okay, and that's what he does. He's going to design electrical, foundation, framing, roofing, everything. He's going to put it together for you. That is his job. So if you hire the right architect, he's your project manager. He's going to help you manage that process. Now, if we're scaling up, okay, and this is where it gets a little bit tricky. If we're scaling up and we're talking about apartment complexes, commercial properties, okay, you're going to have to get in touch with not only an architect, but a civil engineer. Because in an apartment complex, you're talking about infrastructure, electrical lines, plumbing, sewer. So you're going to have a civil engineer lay the foundation out for you, and then you hire an architect who's going to put the buildings on the land for you and kind of design that out. So remember, the difference is civil engineer with apartment complexes, commercial developments, just an architect typically with housing. Now, if you're building a house on a piece of land that has no utilities, no plumbing, no water, you may have to get a civil engineer to help you with that. But in most cases, development for a house has already been master planned out. The civil work's already been done. So you got a good architect, you're good to go. Okay. So remember, first step, find your land. Second step, hire your professionals. House, architect, commercial property, apartment complexes, civil engineer, and an architect. All right. So that's bullet point 2. All right. So now we've already knocked out our first 2 steps. Okay. So now we're going to go to our third step. What do you think that is? Your third step is going to be your general contractors. Okay. You're going to make sure that they're licensed, so you can go to your state's contractors board. They should have a website that can tell you whether or not that contractor is licensed. Okay. Then you want to check references. So have you done jobs similar to this? If so, can we interview clients? Can we make sure we fact check you? Make sure you haven't ran off with anybody's money. There's so many different things you want to make sure with your general contractors. But the easiest way is to just track previous jobs and talk to clients. If they're good contractors, they should come with a really good reputation. All right. So, but you want to get 3 bids. So you're gonna give that contractor those blueprints. He's gonna look at the land and he's gonna give you a price for development. Okay. And you want to take 3. Okay. And the way this typically works is you're gonna have somebody that's gonna come in high. You might have somebody that's going to come in really, really low, and then you're going to have somebody that's probably going to come in the middle. Okay. And based off references and different things like that, you go with the one that you feel more confident with. But once you get the numbers, okay, especially if this is an investment project, all right, so if you're developing a house and the contractor comes back and tells you, I can build it for 180, and let's say the lot's going to cost you 30. So that's 210 all in. Now, if you can sell the house for 250, 260, then that's a great project. You go with it. But if the contractor comes back and say, look, it's going to cost 250,000 for the house for me to build it and develop it, and you still got to buy the land for 40,000, that's 290. If you can only get 250 for it, that's not a good project. So once you get the cost, then now you can start playing with your numbers to see if it works. Same thing with commercial buildings, apartment complexes. Okay. Now, if you're going to develop an apartment complex, you get your costs, you project your rent out, and it tells you whether or not you'll have a profitable project. But remember, the first step, land. Second step, bring the professionals in, design out the apartments or the house or the commercial building. And then the third step, you go to general contractor to get your costs. The fourth step, you analyzing it to see if the numbers make sense. Okay. Now here's the deal. If the numbers make sense, okay, now you go to a lender, whether it's a local bank or hard money lender, for your loan request. In some cases, some people out here now are using investors. So if you have investors that got deep pockets, go for it. But once you see that you have a profitable project, then now we're moving to asking for the money. Okay. Now, once you submit your loan request, you got to realize that depending on how big that loan is, you're going to have, if you don't have a job, let's say you just got a great idea and you don't have a job, then you're going to have an investor, a KP, a key party that signs on that loan with you. If you're not a good, per se, what we say, if you're not a bona fide, borrower, and you don't have, a good job, good income, or a good steady business where you got at least 2 years of tax returns, you're going to have somebody to come with you, on that deal. So just remember that. Now, if you have a great job, you make great money, you have great credit score, nothing's going to hold you back from doing your development. All right. So now we're at our loan request. So let's say the first lender tells you, hey, look, great project, but here's the thing. You don't have what it takes for us to give you the money. Maybe your credit's a little lower. Maybe your income's not good. So remember, you got up to 3 credit pulls before it start hurting your credit. So you can shop this with multiple lenders. So don't let the first lender that tells you no deter you. Go to the next one. So you got to kind of move around, network, if you're in a position where you need to toss it off investors, You know, maybe your investors have a network where they've done projects like this before, so they can help you secure funding for it. Okay, but once you tackle the fourth stage of getting your funding, okay, you ready to go live. Okay, and those are the first four steps. Now, the fifth step would be project management. You're approved, so now you're ready to go. Okay, now, but the first four steps is what it takes to develop property. It's not hard, you know, that's what it takes. So, listen, here's the thing. If you like this, okay, click on my link. Okay, you can get an ebook, $25. It comes with a free course that goes through a whole real estate investing framework. You know, I put everything in there, books in there I bought for you already, like everything's in there for you. So if this is something you want to do, go click the link, buy the book. You know, if not, join my free community. I post stuff every single day about developing property, wholesaling, whatever it may be. But listen, this year is all about learning, okay, giving back and going after our dreams and things that scare us. Like, you got what it takes. Don't hold yourself back. Make it happen. And as always, call me, inbox me, whatever you need. I'm here for you. Okay. Peace out. Hope you enjoyed the webinar.